Hey guys, welcome back to Follow Me 11B. Discussions on current events, macroeconomics, and freedom and liberty from a veteran's perspective. Today I wanted to discuss the ongoing and seemingly worsening baby formula shortage in the United States. What, if anything, does this have to do with the war in Ukraine with Russia? What does this have to do, if anything, with the southern U.S. border, the CV-19 pandemic? Is there another cause that we're not even looking at right now for this shortage? Let's go straight to a news article I came across from Press TV from Thursday, the 12th of May, 2022. And it is entitled, Baby Formula Shortage Hits U.S. as Congress Voting to Send $40 billion to Ukraine. The United States is facing a massive baby formula shortage, among other recent woes, as Congress is voting to send $40 billion in military aid to Ukraine. On Tuesday, the U.S. House passed a $40 billion package for Ukraine, sending the bill to the Senate for a vote. The bill passed with major bipartisan support and only 57 representatives voting against it. Just a quick sidebar. It's currently in the United States Senate, but it was stalled by Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, who wants to add an amendment to be able to have our Inspector General view and see how this money is distributed and spent. So there's going to be a debate on that. There's going to be a new vote, etc., etc. We'll see how it all shakes out, but Minority Leader Mitch McConnell did announce that this bill is going through on Wednesday, more than likely, regardless. So we'll have to see how that all shakes up. But I digress. Let's go back to the article. The U.S. has already delivered $2.4 billion in military assistance to Ukraine since the beginning of Biden's term in office, though much of that aid has come since Russia's military operation against Ukraine began in late February. The latest aid comes as the national shortage of baby formula has become the latest challenge facing President Joe Biden, who is already under harsh criticism over rising inflation rates and gas prices in the country. Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who voted against the measure on Tuesday, said, Americans are suffering from a baby formula crisis, a border crisis, skyrocketing inflation, and a fuel crisis, and they are fed up with America Last politicians. Similarly, Ohio Representative Jim Jordan tweeted Tuesday, quote, more money for Ukraine while baby formula is out of stock for Americans? Voted no. Then, meanwhile, on Monday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the availability of the product is a, quote, priority for the FDA, and they're working around the clock to address any possible shortages, unquote. So just in case we actually don't have a baby formula shortage, it's okay. But if we do, they're on the case. They're looking into it to determine if we actually have an actual shortage. However, she stopped shy of saying the White House could take any further steps. I don't believe there's a national stockpile of baby formula. All right, moving over to one more article I thought that was of interest, published 13 May 2022 by Dan Evan from Snopes.com, entitled, Was Baby Formula Shipped to the U.S.-Mexico Border Amid Shortage? In May 2022, as the shortage of baby formula in the United States continued, a photograph supposedly showing a pallet of baby formula at a detention facility on the border of the United States and Mexico was widely circulated online. Is it true that the Biden administration is shipping baby formula to the border? If so, is this a new endeavor? Is it causing or worsening the current baby formula shortage? Here's what we were able to find out. Does this photo really show baby formula at the border? Well, while we haven't been able to independently verify the origin of this picture, we see little reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if this were somehow fake or misleading, possibly taken at a different facility or in a different year, it's almost certainly true that this border facility has some baby formula on hand. Why? Because it's required by law. Why is there baby formula at the border? Border officials are required to provide humane treatment to any person detained at a border processing facility. This includes providing bathrooms, sinks, food, water, medical attention, and other basic necessities. Is providing baby formula at the border a new policy? Here we go. In 1997, during former U.S. President Bill Clinton's administration, a class action lawsuit regarding the treatment of immigrant children while in the custody of the now defunct Immigration and Naturalization Service, the INS, was settled in what is known as the Flores Agreement. This agreement set strict national standards for the detention and treatment of minors while in federal custody. Among other things, the Flores Agreement requires border officials to provide adequate food and water to any minor in their custody. Is the baby formula at the border causing the baby formula shortage? When we previously investigated the causes of the baby formula shortage, we didn't find any mention of these border facilities. Generally speaking, the shortage started after one of the major U.S. manufacturers of baby formula had to recall several products. Inflation and general supply chain issues have also had an impact on the supply. The Atlantic reported that the CV-19 pandemic also complicated issues as it changed baby formula purchasing patterns. So, that's what Snopes and Press TV have to say about the topic. In my opinion, this is what it boils down to. Let's go by bullet. So, we have a baby formula shortage in the United States. Obviously. Jen Psaki, come on. So number one, the border. Product being sent to the border, U.S.-Mexico border, and is that causing part of this problem? I would say it's clear that yes, there is product being sent to the U.S.-Mexico border as per law. As was explained in that 1997 deal with the Bill Clinton administration. Now, it's required by law. That's all there is to it. And, it's humane treatment of people there. So, also all there is to it. However, it's easy to see how, people would be frustrated when they can't even find, product on their own store shelves. But meanwhile, people that are coming to the country illegally are getting what they're trying to buy legally. So I understand where they're coming from. But here's what I'm thinking. As far as the border goes, this is people taking some of the formula stockpile. That we don't actually have a stockpile, I guess you could say, but the facilities that are producing it, there's kind of a bottleneck on that right now for other reasons that we'll get into in a minute, but we have a limited supply. So they are taking some of the supply to the southern border. So is the southern border causing the supply of baby formula to be degraded? I would say somewhat. Ukraine. Let's go to point number 2, Ukraine. Is the war in Ukraine with Russia have anything to do with the supply chain bottleneck? Well, the Russians are pretty much bottling up most, if not all, of the exports through the Black Sea, through Ukraine and the Black Sea right now. So that may have an impact down the road. But right now, I would say it's unlikely that, at least for right now, that the Ukraine war is having an impact on baby formula in the United States. However, it is clearly insulting when, again, parents can't find, American citizens can't find formula for their own babies, but meanwhile, the government is sending $40 billion to another country. Maybe zero in on the homeland, guys. Just a thought. Also, one other thought I had on that is, adding that $40 billion to the Ukraine. Obviously, we have no money. We're just going to print it up, so that will, again, just increase our inflation problem just a little bit more, which is not what we really need. But that's a whole nother video. I'm thinking that the next thing that we should discuss is the FDA having shut down one of these production facilities. So we've only got about 4 producers in the United States of baby formula. And there's a lot of regulations and a lot of hoops you've got to jump through for the FDA to make sure it's safe. Okay, well, apparently one of these facilities in Michigan didn't pass a quality inspection or a safety inspection, so the FDA shut them down. And I believe this was back in February, in the wake of like 4 babies getting sick. 2 of them died. They weren't even sure if this is the cause, but as many companies do, when there is a possible salmonella or etc. outbreak, you recall products that may have that might be one of the common denominators, just in case. You don't want to make the problem worse. That's what they did, and due to our CV-19 worker shortage, we'll call it that. Even when we get this facility up and running again, we probably aren't going to be operating full strength. And not only that, but once it is operating full strength, it's going to take several months just to get enough formula out to get back on track to where we used to be. So the FDA shutting down this facility is probably the second, well, probably the first cause of the initial problem, but the second biggest cause of the problem as it stands right now. Now, what I think is the number one cause of the formula shortage right now is government red tape. It's real simple. The FDA, like I said, has got lots of hoops to jump through, safety protocols, etc., and to get approved by FDA. And we could have this facility up and running right now, but for the FDA as it's shut down. Not only that, but we don't get virtually any baby formula from outside the country. It's all internal. So if we could loosen these FDA requirements just a little, maybe even temporarily, and let some formula in from Canada or Europe, perfectly safe, this crisis would be over in a matter of weeks, not months. So those are my thoughts on the topic. I'd love to hear your stories, though. If you've got a baby formula shortage story of your own, please post them in the comments below. And any other things you want to add, I would love to hear about them. We are growing. We are now on Follow Me 11B on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, The Real Follow Me 11B, on Instagram, and on Rumble. And we will see you all on the next video.